In the mid-90s, I had a BMW 2002. That was my daily driver, and I fell in with the wrong crowd at that time. The wrong crowd, of course, being guys who, on the weekend, spent their time at the local track driving in drivers' events. And at the time, the types of cars that were on the track were far more powerful than the one that I was driving. The BMW 2002 barely had 100 horsepower, and I was driving along with M3s and 535i's and 325i's and 325is's and cars from that era. There was a lot of, just about everything that was on the track was quicker than what I had. But there's actually a way that you can make your car go faster without even touching the car itself, which was handy because at the time I was a college student and had no money to put an M3 engine under the hood or anything along those lines. So what I could afford were books. So today's video is the 4 books that were most influential to me when it came to high performance driving. So let's get into it. In no particular order, the first one that I bought, I believe, was Ayrton Senna's Principles of Race Driving. This is a good one because it's a very light read. I don't know how many pages this thing has, but it's like, oh yeah, it's like not even, I don't even think it has 200 pages. Yep, just under 200 pages. It gives you the basics. He also goes into a little bit about your body and what you need to do because he was very much an athlete. And it's really very cool. Look, he even has he even has a menu, like what he had for lunch. Very interesting stuff. The exercises that he did. So that's Ayrton Senna's Principles of Driving. Another one that I bought because a little bit later, after I sold the 2002, I bought a Porsche 911. So this is Vic Elford's book. High Performance Driving Handbook. The interesting thing about this book is that Vic talks a little bit about rally driving in this. So if you have like a bit more of a rally sort of type of driving in mind, this is a great book for that. And particularly if you own a Porsche. He actually talks a little bit about his driving days too, which is very interesting. So it's kind of like a little bit of rally driving, a little bit of on-track driving, and a little bit of his time with Porsche. And this too is a pretty light read. I don't even think it has 200 pages. So 187 pages. The next one, this is an interesting one. I was a big fan of Carroll Smith's books. He had Engineer to Win, Tune to Win, and just really incredibly informative just in terms of how things go together, how they break. And at the time I was a student in design, so that was very useful for me for that part of my life as well. He also created a racing driving book, which is this one here. It's called Drive to Win. So he had Engineer to Win, Tune to Win, and Drive to Win. These, I believe, are not in publication. Actually, I don't know if any of these are in publication anymore, but you could always find used books on Amazon and other places like eBay. So this was very, very detailed. I really like Carroll Smith's his writing style, excuse me, because he writes like an engineer. He's very, very technical, and it really, for some reason, it spoke to me. Now, not everybody might respond the same way, but this is a great book if you could find it. In fact, I would recommend the whole series. And as you can see here, I did a lot of highlighting. I even marked some things off with Post-it notes. This is a Post-it note from probably 1995. Highlights, etc. A lot of good illustrations. So check that one out if you could find it. And last but not least, I got to get this one signed because maybe the next time I go to Lime Rock, I'll get him to sign it. But Skip Barber's book. Of course, the quintessential driving school, high performance driving school, and racing school in the world is Skip Barber's school. And the list of famous racing drivers is only topped by the amount of famous people who went to the Skip Barber Racing School. People like Paul Newman and Jerry Seinfeld, all those guys went to Skip Barber. It's just a great time if you have the time and the money to go do it. But he produced a book if you can't afford to go to the actual class. And this one, if you had to buy just one book, I would say this would be it, the Skip Barber book. This one is the thickest of all of them, but it's still not too bad. I think it has maybe 300 pages or so. No, only 257 pages or so. Good illustrations, good pictures. It gets very technical at times, but the basics are really what you need. It's like, well, what is an apex? What does it mean to apex a corner? What does it mean to heel and toe downshift? If you want to know what it is to heel toe downshift, check out my video that explains that in detail with some really good driving footage, if I do say so for myself. Lastly, I have an honorable mention. If you want to become a serious racing driver, you really need to know what it's like to get into the head of somebody who has that factor, that has that it factor that makes you fast. And this book, this last book, is the honorable mention because it's really not about racing driving, but this is Mike Spick's book called The Ace Factor. Now this book actually talks very specifically about what it takes to be an ace fighter pilot. And having read this book, in addition to being really cool and really fun to read, it's an interesting book, this one will be very useful to somebody who wants to get into real competitive driving. And so of course I recommend that. This one's definitely out of print because this was out of print even when I bought it in the 1990s. So you may not be able to find one, but hopefully there's one, maybe a digital one available somewhere, but if you can find it, I recommend you pick that one up. Usually, if you've been to the track, you'll find something out right away, which is there are guys out there who have skills, and there are guys out there who have money, and those two don't always come together in the same individual. So I was the guy who had no money, but was passing everybody because I actually took a nerd's approach to driving first because I had a lot of time on my hands. I was a college student. I had nothing else to do but read books. That's all I did all day was to read books, as one does when they're in college. So hopefully you like this video. Definitely look into being the best, most exacting driver you could possibly be with the highest skill levels, because not only is it a safe thing to really know what you're doing behind the wheel, but it's also, it allows you to really, like I said in the heel and toe downshifting video, it really allows you to enjoy cars on a level that's more than just like, well, it's pretty, it makes good noise, and I can go fast in a straight line. If you can be smooth inside the car, if you can be completely alert and really have that situational awareness that you need to be a racing driver, you'll be a safer driver on the street too, and you'll really, really enjoy yourself. That's my guarantee to you. So if you like this kind of content, I got more videos coming along. I'm going to be doing some more videos with the, I keep saying with the Aston Martin, but I'm going to do more videos with the Aston Martin, maybe some other cars too, so keep watching and cue the gratuitous driving video.